Wow, citrus cherry for the win. What's going on, traders? It's Mike from CapitalHillFX. In this video, we're going to be going through the technical market insights and going over pairs that could potentially play out for this upcoming trading week. Now, first off, I have a confession. I recorded a 30-minute video yesterday, but forgot to turn my webcam on. So I wasn't comfortable with posting the whole entire video on YouTube, but I did chop up the high priority setups that I was looking for in the market and sent them in the trading setups channel on Discord because I wanted you guys to be very prepared for this upcoming trading week. I want to make sure that you have all the trading setups that could play out. And we did have some trading setups already play out. So hopefully you were able to catch some pips. But anyway, we're going to go over these currency pairs. It's not going to be as long as the one that I did yesterday because the one that I did record yesterday was sort of impromptu and I was marking up the charts while I was recording that video. But now I have all the setups already sort of outlined and all the zones already marked. So it's not going to be as in-depth and comprehensive as it was yesterday, but I'm still going to outline all of the trading setups, why I'm looking for these trading setups, and hopefully you'll get something educational out of this. And I'll even give you some more setups from the medium priority that I didn't provide in that video. So anyway, let's jump into the charts. We're starting off on AUD/JPY on the daily time frame. We could see that we were bouncing off of this daily horizontal level, and it looks like we've already sort of bounced off this level. I was looking for a nice little push into this significant support zone, and then I was looking for a nice bullish bounce off of the zone. If we go down to the hourly time frame, we could see that bullish price action did form on the hourly time frame. We could see we did have a bullish engulfing form around 2-3 a.m. last night. And I always mention this every single time. A majority of my trading setups end up playing out at the beginning of London session. And I'm really contemplating to start setting an alarm around 2:30 my time just so that I'm able to trade the London session. I just really prioritize my sleep. So that's TBD. But for right now, we did see a nice little bullish bounce off of this significant horizontal level. We could see probably if we go down to the 15-minute time frame, creating higher highs and higher lows and just clear uptrend structure off of this significant daily horizontal level. So hopefully some of you were able to catch an entry, even though I wasn't able to because of my time zone. Hopefully some of you were able to catch a nice little bounce off of this significant horizontal level. And a lot of people may ask for, what's the analysis? What would be the reason for trading this trade? Do you want to know it? Bounce off of a daily horizontal level. We've had rejection at this level in the past. Boink, 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 boink. We've had significant rejection around this level in the past, and we were just waiting for price to come into this zone, show bullish price action on the hourly time frame, and then place a buy. It's as simple as that. Buy at support, sell at resistance. Don't make things so complicated. Just trade simply. If we come back up to this significant horizontal level, I may be looking for sell opportunities. But for right now, I don't think I'll be entering another buy just because if we do end up bouncing here and show some type of rejection, then this will most likely create a lower high of this continuous downtrend that we're forming on the 4-hour/12 hour. So I won't be looking to trade another bounce off of this zone just because we've bounced here multiple times. And if we don't put in, if we don't wipe out these previous highs and put in a higher high, it's giving me a very good idea that we're going to end up breaking through this zone, maybe testing as resistance and then heading back towards the downside. So if we don't end up wiping out this high, then I'm just going to look for potential sell opportunities towards the downside. So that's what we had on AUD/JPY. NZD Canadian dollar, I was looking for a retest of this significant horizontal level before looking for potential downside movement. If we go down to the hourly time frame, we could see that we did sort of retest this on market open. So we had market open right here. So this was the start of market open, and we could see that we did sort of wick back to the previous highs-ish. I was looking for more towards the previous highs. We could see we barely touched the zone before actually continuing towards the downside. So I wasn't able to catch an entry on here, although I did expect a bearish bounce off of this significant horizontal level. For the time being, I'm not going to be looking for any entries just because I don't think we're going to end up retesting this significant horizontal level. We could see we're already starting to create bearish market structure. We wiped out this previous low, came back to potentially put in a lower high before potentially wiping out this previous lower low. So if we end up wiping out this lower low, then that bearish impulse is already formed. But for right now, we could end up testing this zone. I just don't think we will. But I am going to be placing an alert here because if we're able to catch an entry or snag an entry up at these previous highs, then I will look for a sell order around this significant horizontal level. And again, anybody who asks, what's the reason for placing this trade? Go back to the daily time frame. We've had significant rejection around this level. in the past, clear resistance in the past, and even support. Screw that. And we've even had support here in the past. So there's no reason to think otherwise that we'll get an influx of sellers around the significant horizontal level. And if we look at the recent price action, look at this beautiful bearish wick that is formed on the daily time frame on NZD Canadian dollar. So it's just giving us, it's foreshadowing the future of where price could potentially head. That's all price action is, right? We're just foreshadowing the future based on analyzing hourly, 4-hour, 12-hour, daily candles, whichever candles that you're analyzing. It's just foreshadowing where price could potentially head in the future. So I will be looking for potential downside movement on NZD Canadian dollar. GBP CAD, we could see that we are rejecting. This is similar to NZD CAD, and that is no surprise because the quote currencies are both Canadian dollar. But we could see that we are coming up to this significant horizontal level, treated as support and is now being treated as resistance. We did treat it as resistance briefly right here, but now we're getting a full retest, even though this was back in at the beginning of the year, and now this is near the end of the year. We're going to go down to the hourly time frame and just look how the bearish price action is forming. We could see that we are clearly wiping out lows, creating lower highs, and creating that downtrend structure. Market open, I was looking for price to come back to these previous highs, and then I was going to place a sell. We could see sort of like NZD Canadian dollar, just barely missed the previous highs. Like just barely, this was the zone that I was looking for, and we just barely missed my alert. And this was probably by like freaking 10 pips. Yeah, like 10, 15 pips, missed my alert, barely tapped the previous highs before continuing towards the downside. And we could see that we are beginning to wipe out these lows. Some people would say that this is the low. I think this is sort of like a spike, a weird spike. I would almost put the lows right here. And we could see that we are beginning to create lower highs and lower lows. So I think GBP Canadian dollar and NZD Canadian dollar, the bearish impulse move pretty much already played out. But if we do end up coming back to this significant horizontal level and we do show some type of bearish price action, I will definitely look for sell opportunities towards the downside. I just don't think it will happen, but it could potentially happen. I could be wrong, but the price action that's forming right now around this level just tells us otherwise. So I am going to have the alert set on both of these currency pairs like I do right now, but I'm not anticipating that it's going to play out. But who knows? It may end up playing out. Euro USD, we're going to start off on the daily time frame. We just recently broke and retested this significant horizontal level that was treating as support very briefly before we closed bullish right past the zone, and now it looks like we're coming back to retest it. And this zone was treated very significantly in the past. We could see we've had major resistance. We just haven't really come as support, really. We could see we barely missed this test as support before actually coming back, testing as resistance, and we are testing as support currently. We're going to go down to the hourly time frame to see how price is reacting with this level. We could see that we have actually formed some type of bullish price action in the past, but we have just recently formed a significant lower high. We could see, hold on, let me go back out. We could see that we did put in a huge bearish wick right here, and now we're continuously forming lower highs. So I'm not sure if we're going to end up bouncing here, just because I feel like we would have bounced already and wiped out this previous high if we were going to get that huge bullish bounce. But if we do continuously reject away from this zone, we could see that not only did we have a long lower shadow, which is just a bullish wick, and then a bullish engulfing and another bullish engulfing, which is a significant indication that we have a lot of bullish price action forming around this level. If we get another bounce off of this level, then that may give me a good indication that we could bounce here as potential support. So every time we've come into this zone, we're showing bullish price action. We just recently had a strong hourly bullish candle closure off of this significant horizontal level. It would look good for potential buys, but you want to get in at the right entry point. Don't be chasing waterfalls. And like if we ended up chasing this waterfall of a bullish impulse candle right here, we would have gotten entry here, and look, we would be sitting in drawdown now. Do not chase waterfalls. Do not enter after price has already made an impulsive move towards the upside or towards the downside, because then you'll catch your entry at a bad point. And then if price does end up testing the zone again and you have your stop loss maybe right below the previous candle or something, just because you thought that would be an invalidation zone, then price will easily wick you out before potentially continuing towards the upside, which is just horrible for your trading psychology. So make sure that you don't chase waterfalls, as I like to call it. Don't chase the impulse. Make sure you have strict entry criteria before you're actually entering and exiting the markets. So I would say on Euro USD, make sure that you wait for the retracement back to the significant horizontal level, maybe the previous lows, before monitoring that bullish price action to potentially continue back towards the upside. So looking for that on Euro USD, GBP JPY, looking on the daily time frame, we did have a bullish impulse on GBP JPY that I did anticipate. I was looking for a deeper push into the zone before actually continuing back towards the upside, because we could see the zone is rather broad. Like, you don't know if it's here. You don't know if you should encompass these lows. Like, the zone is a little sketch, but it ended up bouncing anyway. So we're going to go down to the hourly time frame. I wasn't able to catch any pips off of this just because I was a little nervous, just like I was saying before, that this was going to be sort of a fake out before actually pushing back into the zone, actually testing it, and then pushing towards the upside. But we could see that we did form a lot of bullish price action around the level. And it looks like we are now wiping out some highs. So I think we may have missed the bullish impulse on GBP JPY, but I'm still going to be setting alert around this horizontal level, right in the meat of this level, right in the middle of the level, to see if we could trigger an entry to actually get in at a very good entry price right at the level before looking for potential upside movement. So I'm just looking for a retracement back to this significant horizontal level before looking for potential upside movement. Because if we do go back to the 12-hour time frame, we've had rejection around this level in the past. Of course, we have had price completely violate this zone with bearish candle closures right past the zone, but then we've briefly come back and popped back up and treated it as support before continuing back to the previous resistance zone. So for right now, I am just going to be looking for buy opportunities on GBP JPY, but I have the alert set at the zone, so I'm just not compromising my entry until price does come back to that zone. GBP NZD 12-hour time frame. Wow, we could see we perfectly broke and retested this significant horizontal level. Let's go down to the hourly time frame. We're going to look. Damn, we just formed not only a bearish wick, but a bearish engulfing as well. Wow, this is actually a very good entry. Let me go back to the 12-hour time frame. Yeah, this is a stellar entry. Wow. I may be placing into this right now. How many pips is this? It's only 5-6 pips. Wow. This is definitely a trade that I'm going to be placing into. So just a sell right at this significant horizontal level, because if we go back to the 12-hour time frame, we could see that we just recently broke and retested this support resistance zone. So now that it was treated as support, coming back could potentially be treating as resistance. This is definitely a very good sell opportunity on GBP NZD. So probably right after this video, I'm going to be placing sells and posting this in my trade order channel on Discord for my premium members. But for people who are watching this on YouTube, and if it is at a good current market price while you're watching this, make sure to enter some sells on here, or don't take this as financial advice. I'm just a dude who trades off of daily horizontal levels and blows all of his trading accounts. But it's up to you. This looks very good for trading, for sell orders around the significant horizontal level. Let's dip into some of these medium priority. So NZD JPY on the daily time frame, we did bounce off of this significant horizontal level. I was looking for price to come back up to this zone, test as potential resistance before looking for sell orders. We can see the most recent price action, just analyzing it on the daily time frame. We're printing these huge bullish wicks, which is not very appeasing for sell orders. So we could see that price is continuously trying to head towards the downside and probably wipe out this level right here, but we're just failing. Like, buyers just keep having price close towards the top half of the candles, which is showing me that there's not enough sellers in this market for me to look for sell orders. So I'm going to be holding off on NZD JPY just because I don't think that we're going to continue towards the downside. Even if we go down to the hourly time frame, although we are creating lower highs and lower lows, it's not in an impulse fashion, right? We're sort of creating them more like in a consolidatory fashion. I'm not even sure if that's a word, but you could see that we're sort of ranging between a support and resistance level, semi-creating downtrend structure. It's not the cleanest downtrend structure. I think it's more of a weakening of sellers rather than an impulse of sellers that's creating this downtrend structure. So I'm not going to be looking for sell orders on NZD JPY. I'm going to be sitting on the sidelines and sort of seeing what ends up playing out. Euro Canadian dollar. We'll start off on the 12-hour time frame. Price is creeping up to this significant horizontal level. We'll probably have to go to the weekly time frame to see this. We can see we do have a significant weekly zone that price did react with in the past as support and resistance. I'll just be waiting for price to come back to the significant horizontal level, ideally to these previous highs. A lot of people are sketched out trading off of weekly zones because they don't know exactly where to trade off of. I wait until price has reached where price has rejected away from previously. So we could see we have rejected away from this exact price. I wouldn't say exact price point, but general zone that could give us a good idea where price could react with in the past. That was a horrible line. But anyway, you sort of get an idea of where I'm looking for price to retrace back to before looking for potential downside movement. I will be waiting for another upwards movement before looking for potential downside movement, probably wiping out these previous highs and potentially testing somewhere up into the meat of this zone. It's so funny. I've never called it the meat of the zone, but like I think I'm going to start calling it that now. So that's what I'll be looking for on Euro, Canadian dollar, GBP, CHF. Let's move a little faster into these currency pairs. GBP, CHF. We can see that we have had previous support and resistance at this level in the past. I will be looking for a deeper test into this zone before looking for potential upside movement on GBP, CHF. We could see that we had a very light test, shallow test on GBP, CHF. We're going to go down to the hourly time frame. We could see we did have a bullish wick that barely tapped the zone before continuing back towards the upside. This wouldn't have been a valid entry because, like I said, I like to catch my entries right at the zone, if not right at the zone, a little bit above the zone. Nothing like I said, chasing impulse moves or anything like that. I will be waiting for a clear push into the zone, some type of bullish price action, and then a buy order with the stop loss. Again, I don't use stop losses. I will use a hedge order, but if you use stop losses, your stop loss right below the zone, and then maybe your target's at this previous high. This looks pretty good. This is a pretty good medium priority setup. So that's what I'll be waiting for on GBP, CHF, Euro, JPY, daily time frame. I didn't place a buy here. I think that was for the video. This actually played out exactly. Let me go back to that buy. Look how well this buy order would have played out. So we could see that price dipped below this significant horizontal level that was treated as support and resistance in the past, came back, tested as support, and is now pushing. We're going to go down to the hourly time frame. And we could see that we did have a bullish engulfing print off of this significant horizontal level. This would have been a questionable entry just because, like I've been saying practically this whole entire video, you don't want to catch entries when price has already impulsed away from the zone. You want to catch the entry right at the zone. So if this was a pending order at this zone and we did get triggered into a buy, this probably would have been one of the best trades that I've placed just because there wouldn't have even been a pip bet in drawdown, right? It would have barely pinned the entry and then you would have been right into profit the whole entire time, which rarely ever happens with trading. You're initially, of course, with those good trades, you'll just rocket into profit, but a lot of times it will just like go sideways from entry to drawdown to profit and play with your emotions if you're not stable with trading. And this one would have went straight into profit. But anyway, who cares about woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda? I will be looking to see if price does come back to the significant horizontal level before looking for potential upside movement. We want a clean test of the zone before looking for that upside movement. So it may hurt sometimes to watch trades that you could have placed of like, damn, I should have entered this or I should have had a pending order. But a lot of times you want that confirmation to know that you're going to enter that trade because there's going to be times where you actually enter off of stupid stuff like this where it barely taps the zone and it impulses towards the upside. You place your entry and then it ends up stopping you out and you're like, damn, I shouldn't have placed the trade. So it could go both ways. Don't just think that you're missing trades and you're missing pips and you're missing so much money. A lot of times that you end up missing out on those trades, they would have ended up stopping you out as well. So it's sort of fair when you start trading like that. But anyway, I'll be waiting for a retest of this zone before looking for potential downside movement. We may end up not even pushing into this zone like that. We may push for another higher low because we could see that we are creating higher highs and higher lows sort of right here off of this non-horizontal support zone. So I will raise this zone a little and see if we can come back and test. I just want a better entry because I don't think the current market price is good for buys right now. But that's what I'll be looking for on Euro JPY, USD Canadian dollar, daily time frame. I think price is sort of floating through substructure. We just recently broke out of an hourly zone, I want to say. Let's go on the hourly time frame. I want to clear these patterns. Ish. I mean, I don't even think so. We could see that this was sort of a significant hourly zone. This is why I don't trade off of hourly zones. Just because, yeah, I mean, you could be profitable doing it, but I would just be going back and forth of like, is it a zone? Is it not a zone? Is it a zone? Is it not a zone? So I just trade off the significant ones. We're going to go back to the daily time frame. Actually, the 12-hour, let's go to. I just don't see any significant zones. Some people may mark this one right here. I don't think that's too significant in my opinion. I'm just going to stay out of it. I'm going to wait for price to come to either this significant horizontal level. Let me go to the other one. This significant horizontal level, and then wait for bearish price action to go towards the downside, or retrace back to the zone that we just recently had a bullish impulse off of and go towards the upside. So I'm going to be placing an alert around here. I'm just going to wait for price to either come up to this significant resistance level or come down to this significant support level. I don't care if it keeps floating through substructure. I just won't do anything. Just have the alert set for here or here. And I'm going to put this up a little bit on the priority list. Perfect. NZD USD daily time frame. Price already had a bearish impulse off this daily horizontal level. I'll be waiting to see if price could dip down to this zone before looking for potential downside movement, or wait for price to come back up to this significant resistance level before looking for downside. I think I switched that up. Let me reverse a little. I'm going to be waiting for price to dip into this significant horizontal level before looking for upside movement, or this significant resistance level before looking for downside movement. Sort of the same type of setup as USD Canadian dollar, just floating through substructure right now, waiting for price to make a definitive move towards the upside or towards the downside. Euro Canadian dollar, daily time frame. Wait, did I already go over this? Yeah, this is the weekly zone. I lied, not Euro Canadian dollar. CAD JPY, we're almost here, ladies and germs, just stick with me. Daily time frame, we can see we are floating through substructure right now. And this is something that I went over yesterday in the video. Yes, we could see that we do sort of have a support and resistance level, probably on the 4-hour time frame right here. We could see that price is consolidating through this support and resistance level on the 4-hour time frame. I'm just waiting for price to break through either this support or resistance level to trade off of these major zones, just because I think that price will end up breaking one of these zones because we've tested it so many times. And yes, a zone is more validated if we do test it multiple times, but it's more likely that we're going to break through that zone, probably because we're either failing to wipe out previous highs or previous lows. So if price does come, let me go to a clean zone here. Let's say that this is a significant resistance level. Yes, it is more valid that price is going to reject off this zone, but it is more likely that we're going to break through the zone as well. Because if we're continuously rejecting off of the zone and we're creating maybe higher lows, or we're just rejecting off of another support zone, there's not enough sellers in the market to wipe out this previous structural support zone or higher low. That price is going to end up probably finding liquidity at a higher price point that will end up driving the sellers towards the downside. That's why liquidity spikes are so infamous. A lot of people think that big banks do it. They probably do, but it's so much speculation that price is, let's say you want to sell at a significant resistance level. You place your sell right. Let's place the sell right here. Price is just moving, bouncing, and then we have price form a huge liquidity spike that ends up stopping you out. And that's because price needs to come up to this zone to have an influx of sellers drive price towards the downside. And then price will come back down here, test the level, and then it'll end up driving towards the downside. Sort of like what happened on Euro JPY. Like what happened on Euro JPY right here. Like we could see, we had price bounce at this significant horizontal level, tried to wipe out the previous highs, failed to, came extremely lower, and then it ended up driving price back towards the upside. So price needed to fall all the way to 140 almost before it actually continued up to 146. So that will happen a lot of times. So if we go down to CAD JPY, I'm just not bought on these two zones just because we've tested them so many times, and I'm not going to be trading the 5th, 8th, 10th bounce consecutively when this has only been trading around these zones for the last 2-3 weeks. So not interested. I'm waiting for price to come to these significant horizontal levels on the 12-hour or daily time frame. So just waiting for price to break out of the substructure that we're currently in, whether it's this significant daily level, waiting for bullish price action around there, or this significant daily level as well. If we go back to the daily time frame, it's a better indication of what price could potentially retrace to before looking for downside or upside movement. So not looking for these zones, waiting for these significant daily zones on CAD JPY. I'll put them up a little. And then last but not least, CHF JPY, sort of the same thing that happened on Euro JPY. Oh my gosh, these markets are like so similar. Yeah, literally like almost picture perfect similarity between Euro JPY and CHF JPY. Anyway, had a shallow retest of this significant horizontal level before continuing back towards the upside. It's just going to make me feel bad again for not entering this. But again, we didn't really retest these lows. Like barely missed the alert that I had set for it. by like 10, 12 pips, of course, and then continue towards the upside. But that's okay because we are very strict with our entry criteria, and we do not want to compromise our entry criteria for a bad entry and then price hitting our stop loss once it comes in retests. So I'm completely okay with sort of closing my eyes and just going to different pairs when things like this happen, because it ends up working itself out over an extended period of time. Of course, when you have a profitable system, it works itself out. So we sort of missed the bullish impulse on CHF JPY and most likely Euro JPY, although I do have alerts set. So if they do come back, cool. We will look for reentries. But for right now, it looks like they are sort of heading away. So just to wrap these up really quickly, AUD JPY, I'm most likely not going to be re-entering on AUD JPY if we do come back to this zone, because that most likely means that we will need to dip lower before we're actually going back towards the upside. So I'm going to be actually staying out of AUD JPY, putting in the low priority. NZD Canadian dollar, if we get another entry or price retest a significant horizontal level, I will look for potential downside movement. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could potentially play out. So we will see if we could get another entry. GBP Canadian dollar, sort of the same thing as NZD Canadian dollar, just waiting for another retest before looking for potential downside movement. Euro USD, I'm just waiting for bullish price action to form around the significant horizontal level. We are creating lower highs and lower lows. I do think that this could be established as support, though, just because we have rejected away from this zone multiple times. And if we do scroll back on the 4-hour time frame, this zone was well respected in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do respect this level well in the future, aka right now. So we could see on the 12-hour time frame, we are beginning to form a nice little bullish wick too. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, so I will be looking for that. And I think they do call this a hanging man. This looks like a hanging man formation. So I will be looking for potential buys towards the upside on Euro USD. GBP JPY, waiting for price to dip back into the significant horizontal zone before looking for upside movement. We already sort of missed this bullish impulse on the hourly time frame on GBP JPY, but if we do come back to this significant horizontal zone, I will be looking for potential upside movement. GBP NZD, this is something that I will be looking to potentially enter. We could see that we are rejecting away from this. If we go on the 12-hour time frame, we could see that we did have a break and retest of this significant horizontal zone. If we dig down, holy moly, I can't speak today. If we dig down to the hourly time frame, we could see that we did just form a significant bearish engulfing around the significant horizontal level. So I will look for potential sell entries if we do form another red indicator like this, or just bearish price action around this significant horizontal level. I will look for a potential sell opportunity or sell order around this zone. But we do have a lot of bullish price action, so I do need to take that into consideration. But I will always wait for the end of the hourly candle closures, or the open of the candle closures, before looking for potential entries. So that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys have a phenomenal trading week. I will be very active in the Discord server, so make sure to chat any of your questions or even trading setups, or just engage with other traders in the community. And I will be posting a lot more educational content, not only in my YouTube, but on my TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of my social media platforms, and even in that Discord server. So make sure to stay tuned and turn on all of the notifications in the Discord server. I love you all. Thank you so much for the support, and I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.